not a good one. There you go. Might have been too good. Yo, yo, yo. What is going on, my beautiful brothers and sisters, fellow radiators of love? My name is Jamal Pope, aka J Phoenix. This is going to be your daily tarot and astrology reading for Saturday, July 20th, 2024. Thank you so much for joining me in this video. Hopefully, you guys are having a wonderful, wonderful start to your weekend. I was having mic issues earlier. Like, I had already filmed this, and then I noticed that my mic wasn't on the entire time. And even though that little light thing was green right there, so it like cut in and out multiple times. So I made the entire video, and I was like, I just hope that maybe it worked out, but nah, it was cutting in and out. So I'm having to re-record this. And normally when things like this happen, I reshuffle the cards and reshuffle the deck. I'm not gonna do that. This time. So the first card that I actually drew was the Hierophant in reverse. And essentially what I was saying with this Hierophant in reverse is that, there is this element where we may be receiving sort of this information or this counsel from someone else. And because it is in reverse, we have to be a little bit more discerning about what exactly is that they're telling us. Like, kind of checking to make sure that's actually factual and stuff too, because there could be an element here of some misguided information or maybe even intentional misguided information as well, to actually intentionally knock people into a weird direction. Now, because it is the Hierophant, typically this is associated more with like religious aspects, priests, and different things of that nature. It doesn't necessarily have to be that. It can be leaders of companies, it can be business, it can be political leaders, just in general. But whatever it is, the Hierophant holds like a particular position, right? When people come to the Hierophant for counsel, well, if it's in reverse, the Hierophant's not really in the best place to give that counsel per se, or they may be trying to intentionally lead people in the wrong way so they can maintain some level of power and control. That's the danger part of this. Now, the next card I got was the Page of Swords. So this is with this being in reverse, this is a young, impressionable individual that's thirsty for knowledge, thirsty for information, and, likes things to happen rather quickly at that. But definitely, this is like a book nerd, Throw that on top of the Hierophant, you definitely have some energy where someone may intentionally try to control narratives and take advantage of an otherwise impressionable mind. It's just kind of crazy, and I'm having to even redo this because it almost is like I had to ask myself, am I really going to just redo the whole thing, or am I just going to shuffle the cards back? And I'm like, no, I think this message was too important. And even though it seems a bit out there and maybe even a bit like conspiratorial, it's like this Hierophant is controlling this Page of Swords in a sense, right? So, astrologically, if we look at the day, we do have the moon that's going to quincunx Mars, right? And excuse me, no, the moon's going to quincunx Jupiter, right? And it's also going to sextile over to Saturn. Now, you would think that the sextile to Saturn is a positive thing because sextiles are generally more positive, but you got to remember that moon, it is in its detriment. That Saturn is dispositing this moon, but Saturn is retrograde, right? So the moon's also going to square Chiron too. My big thing with this Hierophant and the Page of Swords and how it relates to even just the astrology of the day is that also, if you think about it, Mars itself is going to be moving into Gemini and is going to make a trine to Pluto, which is in Aquarius, retrograde, mind you. Pluto is going back into Capricorn, so we're going to revisit that, and that's going to be for the next, starting in September, going through mid to late November, we're going to see that aspect. But Mars being in Gemini is definitely going to bring about, and Mars is the war planet, and Gemini in many ways is the mind, so there is a war for your mind. And maybe this Hierophant is being used as a way to kind of tug maybe on the heartstrings, the emotional strings, but also the spiritual strings of this Page of Swords to be like, you know what, if you want to be a good person, you do this. I feel like this is a weekend, especially with that Mars trine Pluto, which is beginning to happen, of course, leading up to a full moon in Capricorn, a second one, and then that moon shifts into Aquarius and conjuncts this Pluto. There's going to be a broadcast that's sent out that it's going to be like, if you want to be a good person, you would do this. But because the Hierophant's in reverse and the Page of Swords is in reverse, the Hierophant is bringing down the energy of the Page of Swords and kind of influencing them and much more in a negative way. I'm going to be honest. Don't let people gaslight you this weekend. Don't let people control your mind this weekend. And the other card that I got was the Six of Cups in reverse. So they're all reversed. It's like the Hierophant is going to try and paint this picture of, you remember how things were 8 years ago? You remember how things were 10 years ago? You remember the world back then? We can have that again. No, we can't. No, we can't. And that's going to be the reality of the Pluto going back into Capricorn. Because while we are going to be revisiting Pluto and Capricorn, what we've been through over the last 15 years, it is the final nail in the coffin of that energy. It's the final dagger to be revealing all of the underbelly and undercurrent of Pluto Capricorn that we have seen and exposing it finally, officially. Now it's been exposed. It's just whether or not people have been willing to actually see it, But Pluto going into Capricorn is literally like one of those memes where it has someone doing this to someone else's eyes and forcing them to look at something. That's kind of what this energy is. So this Hierophant is going to be painting this picture of the Six of Cups. We can go back to the way things were with this and that. It's in reverse. So they're going to be pulling on your nostalgia. They're going to be pulling on your childhood. They're going to be pulling on that aspect, wanting you to go back to that sort of thing. And it's a false narrative. So do not fall for it. Now, I think how this may play out in the world at large is that maybe you see certain leaders, maybe different spiritual leaders or different leaders within politics. I'm not going to say who or what it is because I'm just going to be impartial as an astrologer. It could be anybody that may try to paint, we can go back to the way things were 4, 8, 10, 12, however many years ago, and try to paint this narrative that's beautiful and it's, all these beautiful flowers and it's sunny and we can go back to that and everyone can be happy. But it's a false narrative, right? And then more than likely they'll come out in a year and say, I never told you that. So they'll end up gaslighting you in a year, right? So that's the thing about this Saturday is, with Mars joining this little mini party in Gemini, you now have 2 fire signs and an air sign, right? So that is going to cause a bit of an explosion, especially with Mars and Jupiter. Jupiter wants to expand things, and Mars is a firecracker, and it's going to go into Gemini, and they're both being disposited by Mercury and Leo. If you thought the drama was done, it's not done. We are living through history right now, and this is a time where we're going to be forced to look at these things and address them. Regardless of how you may feel about it, especially more on the larger national scale, international scale, when it comes to socioeconomic stuff and political stuff, we're being forced to look at it and address it because we're all human. We're all in this together. You can't kill parts of the zodiac. Some people, I swear, some people within the spiritual community just hate talking about politics. I'm sorry, politics and other sort of stuff, policy making, whatever. That's all Capricorn. You can't kill Capricorn. Just you can't. Everyone wants to yeah. I don't want to go to war, but war is Aries. You can't kill Aries. You can't kill that part of the zodiac. The only way that you kill it is if someone is born on another planet somewhere where Mars wouldn't be a part of the zodiac, or Aries wouldn't be part of the zodiac, and Mars wouldn't be transiting the zodiac or wherever that person is going to be born at. So, like it or not, these are aspects of humanity that we have to deal with and we have to be forced to face. So, like I said, this is going to be a weekend where the mind with that Page of Swords, that's on this Saturday, can be a little bit more impressionable. Do not allow this Hierophant just because maybe they seem like they are in a position of authority or they're in a position of, maybe you think that they're better than you or whatever like that, or more, or holier than you or whatever. Like I said, it doesn't have to be religious, but it can be. Don't allow that to come in your mind and mold it into something and then feed you this false narrative that you can go back to the way things were 4, 8, 12 years ago. And in a sense, we are revisiting that energy, but it's not to try and reclaim it and it's not to try and like reclaim it per se. It's not to try and make it work. It's to see it is done. I have the card of be persistent as well. So the be persistent card, it's silver, right? There's silver linings here. These are definitely uncomfortable times. This is definitely a lot of energy going on. But I think, so long as you are, on your path, you are remembering to have gratitude every single day, because gratitude is important. Remember the things to be grateful for, and you are having something that you are striving towards. You can't think for yourself. You're not going to allow yourself to get gaslit. You're not going to allow yourself to be broadcasted upon to believe a certain narrative. You can think for yourself and just be persistent. I think that's the most positive thing. There are silver linings here. And that even though, yes, in an element, we are going to be revisiting the old world, but that's only going to be for about a 4-month period. This next full moon in Capricorn on Sunday is like the projector that's about to play this movie, and Act 1 is Leo, right? I talked about this in my Cosmic Convergence. I highly recommend that you check that out because I go much more in depth with the astrology. But these 3 cards, Hierophant reverse, Petrosaurus reverse, 6 of Cups reverse. Don't allow someone to try and paint this image of you of things going back to a different time where things made it seem more simpler or easy, because it's not gonna go back to that. Hate to say it. That doesn't mean though that what's coming isn't beautiful and isn't a place that we all can thrive in. That's going to do it for your daily tarot / astrology reading. And honestly, I feel like take 2 was much better than take 1. But y'all take care, stay blessed, have a wonderful day. I trust that this message will assist you on your journey today. And I'll see y'all on the next astrology tarot reading. Peace. Thursday.